Hello everyone, my name is Patrick Bell and welcome to the presentation for Monkey on the Move, a senior project advised by Dr. Shen. So what is Monkey on the Move? Monkey on the Move is an easily expandable location tracking system that uses RFID technology, database technology, and web development tools to provide easy to read location information for a user on a public website. It is also designed to take data gathered by the system, put that data in a database, and perform statistical analysis on this data to make predictions about future user locations. So why did I choose this project? I chose this project because it combines all of the skills that I have learned during my time at PSU, along with it allows me to expand and develop my skills with new technologies such as JavaScript and statistical analysis. I also wanted to make something that would last after I leave PSU, and since Dr. Burke wanted a similar system, I figured let's go ahead and do it. Here's a list of technologies that I used. First, MySQL. I use this for all things database related and queries in my web development process. Next, Raspberry Pis. These were the backbone of my project and hosted the RFID technology and Python scripts. Next, I used Python. Python was used to create my two Python scripts on my Raspberry Pis that register users and accept swipe-ins. Then I used HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP to do all my web development and statistical analysis. So what exactly did I do? I broke this down into 8 major milestones. The first milestone was research. I spent the winter and first 2 weeks of the semester researching RFID and statistical analysis to get a better grip of what I was dealing with. The second milestone was setting up and configuring the Raspberry Pis. This setup included installing the operating system, enabling interfaces, installing any programs or packages necessary, and getting them connected to the internet. The third milestone was soldering RFID scanner pins into their circuits, wiring them, and then testing them. This step was getting RFID set up so I could swipe and read data. Testing the scanners was to ensure I did not damage them while I soldered them. The fourth milestone was to create my database and create the tables. I spent time here because I needed my table structures to be stable before I could move forward without needing to make drastic changes to them later down the line. Unfortunately, I did need to make changes a little bit, but it was nothing too drastic and I didn't need to restart. My fifth milestone was to develop 2 Python scripts. The first one registers new RFID chips to users and also overwrites existing users on swipe. The second one is used to swipe into a location so it can be used for current location information and predictions. The sixth milestone was to develop the user interface and web page for the current location page and to research JavaScript to implement across my site. The seventh milestone was to develop the predictions user interface. I did this by reusing code from the current location page and tweaking it to fit the application better. I also implemented statistical analysis here. I did this by employing mode statistical analysis in my PHP, essentially reading all data and making a prediction based off the most represented location for a time slot. And lastly, my last milestone was to gather data and then test my system as much as I possibly could. So what issues did I have? My first issue was connecting the Raspberry Pis to PSU Wireless. After working tirelessly with PSU's infrastructure services team, we came to a conclusion that DHCP was not assigning IP addresses to my Pis. To avoid using static IPs, we came up with a solution of using PSU Games and Domain of One Own. My second issue was being unable to gather swipe data due to COVID-19. Dr. Burke was my main resource for collecting data as it's easiest for him to collect the data. And since I couldn't use him anymore, my workaround was to take Dr. Burke's pre-existing schedule online and swipe in at the appropriate times or to manually enter a query for that time if I couldn't get a swipe in. My third issue was large gaps of time without data. Not every hour is going to have data to use. Say you're in class from 1 to 3, you're not going to re-swipe in at 2 for the system. This led to gaps where there was no prediction, and my solution was if there was no location, then it should recursively call my prediction function, but decrease its hour by 1 each time until it found an hour with a location, and then it would use that location. And my last issue was I was unable to complete the swipe out feature. Because of COVID-19, I was unable to order parts, and since Terminal can only run one Python script at a time, I was forced to create bounds for times which were known out of office times. So here are some of my unresolved issue. As everyone knows, COVID-19 pandemic is currently occurring, so that was one of my major roadblocks. I was forced to relocate, meaning I had 2 weeks where I couldn't work on my project. I was left with not having enough resources. My advisor, Dr. Shen, was great, but not being able to walk up to any advisor to ask questions or to use the memorial locations or my peers to help me gather data was a massive loss. And of course, health and security. My father works in a hospital, so having to constantly worry about getting sick was also an issue. My second unresolved issue was physical security of my Pis. This remains unresolved because I was unable to get the materials needed to physically secure them. So now that we talked about my problems, what didn't I get to do? Well, first, I didn't get to implement the swipe out feature, which I really wanted to do. As discussed, COVID-19 prevented this. Second, I didn't get to do more in-depth statistical analysis. After being set back by COVID-19 and relocation, I needed to sacrifice extra in-depth statistics in order to remain on track for completion. I really wanted to do more, just the current circumstances prevented me from doing so. Next, I was unable to gather authentic user data. I was also unable to physically secure the Raspberry Pis. I was unable to expand the system to have views from multiple users. Right now it's only one, and I wanted to make it so you could see the user of your choice. Next, a feature improvement I thought of that I wasn't able to do was adding an LCD screen for users to view when they swipe in. And of course, I was unable to deploy the Raspberry Pis in Memorial as planned, so I wish I could have done that as well. Now that I've talked about what Monkey on the Move is, what I did, the issues I ran into, and what I could not do, I will now demo the system for you. Enjoy. Hello everyone, and welcome to the demo for the Monkey on the Move project. In my hand, I have an RFID card that I'm going to use to show you how to register a user to the system. First, we need to SSH into the Pi and run the register script. I've already SSH'd in for time's sake, so we'll need to start the script now. It will tell you to place the chip to register or override a user. Let's go swipe our card. Since this card is unregistered, it prompts us for a name. We will enter Patrick. It tells us our user Patrick is saved and then awaits a new swipe. Now if we check our users table, you can see Patrick was entered in. If we swipe again with the same card, it asks us to override the user. If we type no, it will await a new swipe, which we will do, and if you type yes, it will overwrite the user. Now that we've seen the register feature, I'm going to show you the swiping in feature. First, again, we must SSH into the Pis and run the swipe script, which I have preemptively done. I will now start the script on all 4 Pis. For the sake of time, I'm only going to show it on one. After starting, it then prompts us to swipe in, so let's swipe in on all 4 Pis. As you can see, it reads the chip, tells us the record has been added, and then awaits a new swipe. Now, if we check our swipe table and sort by last entry, you can see all the 4 new swipes at the top. So what happens if the card that we're using is not registered? Let's go ahead and swipe and see. As you can see, it tells us this user does not exist and then awaits another swipe. That's pretty much it. The script is identical across all 4 of the Raspberry Pis, but modified to input the unique data about themselves into the table to be used for current location and predictions. So now that I've shown you the swipe in feature, we can now look at my website to see the current location. The current location should be the last swiped location, which as we saw was entered into the database just a minute ago. Our last swipe was the Pi that should reside in Memorial 304, so if we go to our page, we should see Memorial 304 with the swipe time and date. And now that we're on the site, we can confirm that Memorial 304 is there. This site pulls the last swiped location in the database and displays the location and a map for the user to view, along with some other useful data. If I swipe into another Pi, we can see this update. Now that I have swiped in a different location, let's go ahead and refresh the web page and see what happens. And now once the web page has refreshed, you can see that the location switches to the new location. Now that we've seen the current location page, let's go ahead and see the predictions page as well. Here you can see the predictions for the current data that is in the database. Currently it is 12 o'clock p.m., so I'm going to get the 12 o'clock prediction to change for this demonstration. I will do this by swiping 5 times into a new location, and when I refresh the page, we should see a different location. Now let's go ahead and refresh the web page, and we should see the 12 o'clock prediction and current location prediction change from Memorial 304 to Kyle's office. And we do. These predictions occur for every hour listed in the table and will change based off swipe data. I would like to show more, but I'm almost out of time, so that will be it for now. And with that, that concludes the demo for Monkey on the Move. If you would like to play with Monkey on the Move, please visit patrick.plymouthcreate.net/motm.php. Thank you for watching this presentation. I want to thank my advisor Dr. Shen and all of the other CS and IT professors for helping me and teaching me throughout my time here at Plymouth State University. You guys truly are awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.